Hey everyone, I'm Erin, this is the Cardboard Republic, and we have a to be played video. We're going to talk about the games that we should have played in February, and the games that we're hoping to play in March. Let's jump right in. So, February, our game of the month was Gloomhaven. Fun story, Gloomhaven is still our game of the month because Gloomhaven is freaking huge. Enormous. It is a legacy game set in a fantasy universe. You're all dungeon crawling, playing different people, creatures sometimes. I'm a creature. And it is fascinating. We did start it during February. We did get a game in, and we are going to be continuing it because it's a legacy style game. You really have to play a campaign with the same people, so we decided to actually keep it on, spoiler, for our March list too. Next is Escape Room, The Secret of Dr. Gravely's Retreat. It sounds so much more exciting than it actually is. It was super simple to plow through this little escape room in a box. If you've ever played a point and click adventure game like Monkey Island, you will beat this in 10 minutes and then spend the rest of your time being like, wait, was there more? This was actually pretty fun. I love little escape room games. Actually, I would play these all day if you let me. But that said, they are pretty simple. This one was no different. It kind of just leaves you like wanting more, which I think is actually probably a good sign. Unlike, tragically, the Murder, She Wrote game. I don't know what happened here. It's like, I can see it. It's right over there. I'm really excited for it, but we had a kind of disrupted schedule in February. We had a few big storms come through on game days, and our normal gaming schedule was like all out of whack. So Murder, She Wrote just never happened. We actually have a little event planned where we're gonna play the probably terrible Murder, She Wrote game along with the probably terrible Da Vinci Code game all in one night. It's gonna be a night full of things that I love that everyone else hates. I'm super pumped. It's gonna be great for me. Yeah, okay. So Murder, She Wrote is not going to be on the list again, but it's definitely coming up soon. I'll probably mention it a lot because it's Murder, She Wrote and it's awesome. New Angeles was another game that we did not play, and kind of for a similar reason actually, because this is a big game. We would have needed to set aside a full night to play it, or a full game day kind of thing. And because of the storms, we didn't really have those. So New Angeles is going to be bumped from our current plan, and we will get to it in the future. Via Nebula was our replay game. So that's a game that we had played previously that we wanted to bring back. Unfortunately, kind of the same deal. We actually got so far as to get Via Nebula to the table, but it never ended up getting played. I don't really know what happened in February for us, but sometimes when you have a plan and then one little piece of that plan goes awry, the rest of the plan falls apart. February fell apart. We're gonna blame it all on Gloomhaven. One thing that we did manage to play was Freedom Underground Railroad, which was good because February was Black History Month in the US, and this was actually our luck of the draw card pull game. It just happened to work out. I had been wanting to play this for a really long time because it's one of those games that tackles a super serious issue, but it does so respectfully. I've heard really good things about it, and that is true. It is a rough game to play when you are forced to make those decisions about, okay, well, if I move this slave during this turn, then it's likely this one will be captured, and having to make that call is really hard. But it also does teach you something about the challenges of moving slaves from the South through the North and into Canada, and the cost of that journey to everyone. So Freedom Underground Railroad was one of the very few games that we played in February, but I think that it should count for like 3 because it was amazing and I learned something, and it actually hit me emotionally, which a lot of games don't really do. So overall, if you don't count freedom 3 times. I'll own it. We are 3 for 6 in February, which is sad, and I am ashamed. And we're going to put that down and not look at it, and we're going to move on to March. March. Looking forward, like I said before, our indie spotlight game is still Gloomhaven because it is a beast. It seems fun, but it's a beast. So that is still a game that we're going to keep on our list. I already talked about it. Nothing has changed since 2 minutes ago. Gloomhaven, legacy game. We're going to play it a lot. Next up, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. If you watched our haul video, hope you did. There's a link below. You should go check it out. But after this, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective is a game that I am excited for because I love Sherlock. I love Sherlock so much that I get nothing, but I really love Sherlock. I don't love Sherlock as much as a lot of people who like really love Sherlock and have like tattoos and all sorts of like fan gear and stuff, but in my heart. So Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, this version of it is a standalone expansion to the original Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. In this one, you're solving the Jack the Ripper case, as well as another case that I am less familiar with. So I have been wanting to try, I guess technically the original one for a really, really long time. So when I say that we are getting this to the table, I say it with confidence. Of course, I said that with the Murder, She Wrote game, but you know what? That was in February and we're leaving February. In March, I say Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective confidently. We're gonna play it. Those 2 games, Gloomhaven and Sherlock Holmes, are both pretty hefty, pretty long, pretty all-consuming of my mental and emotional game energy for the month, so we decided to supplement it with some quicker games. First up, we chose North American Railways. To be honest, this game seems to combine 2 styles of games that I do not care for, railways and economic stock games. But in it, you are a railroad developer trying to get the most shares of a railroad. It seems super, super light, and I think Ryan will really dig it. I think a couple of our other friends will really be into it, and it's short enough that I can just be like, peace, I'm gonna go make pizza, and then no one can get mad at you for not playing because you're making them food, hint. And then they'll play that game and I'll come back, and not only will I have not had to play a game that I'm not into, but I'll also get pizza. Plan. Next up, another pretty short game is Explorers of the North Sea. This is the 3rd in the Vikings series of games, and it's super simple. You play a tile, you take a couple actions, you Viking up everything, and you go home. I mean, not quite. You are basically trying to explore, you're moving things between islands, you're finding islands, you're probably wreaking havoc everywhere you go, if I know my Vikings. And that's about it. It will definitely make it to the table because it seems like a really good game to play when you're waiting for everyone to get there. I don't love the term filler game because I don't know. It like puts me off a game. If you're like, this is a filler game, then I'm like, why are we wasting our time with this? Let's play a real game. But this seems to, it seems like a filler game, but like in a good way. Do you know what I mean? I hope so. It seems like a game that you can play when you're just waiting for a couple more people or when the night is winding down and you want something that is not so light that it feels like a waste of time, but not so heavy that you actually have to think about it. We'll see. Our replay game of the month. So, like I said before, this is a game we played previously that we're bringing back to the table, is Mystic Vale. Mystic Vale is so interesting because it's a deck building game, but you're actually like building the cards as you go because they're transparent and you can like add things and stack things onto them. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you go and you look at pictures, There are a ton of them. So we actually have an expansion to Mystic Vale. Replaying it now will allow us to add in that expansion later on, and I am pumped because I loved just what this game did. I didn't necessarily think that it was 100% perfect, but it took it created a new mechanic, which you just don't see super often, and that's always kind of thrilling. Now, our card pull game. This deck of cards consists of a bunch of games that we could play and review within the month of March. I'm going to shuffle it probably poorly as per tradition, and then pull one. That is a game that we will play, review in March or shortly thereafter. Give me a sec. There's a truck outside. It's going vroom. And ooh, throwing things everywhere. The Panda Poker game. Pendante is Panda Poker. It's like poker, but with a panda theme. So you have regular poker, and then you have like these snack cards that help you with the bluffing aspect. You can play the whole time. There isn't player elimination. I think there are a couple other rules changes in there, but essentially at the heart of it, it's a poker game. The box is so cute too. Maybe we can put a picture up here. If not, we'll link to it down there somewhere. It's adorable. Panda Poker. We'll play it. I'm not quite sure how the review on that is gonna go. We'll probably end up doing an audio-based one because there is just not a lot to see with a poker game. But I'm actually kind of excited to try this. I don't know poker super well. Maybe this will help to instill a love of poker in me because I do love pandas. Okay, so that is our March to be played list. We have a bunch of games, some heavier ones. We tried to balance it out with some light ones, and then we got Panda Poker at the end. So I'm not sure how this is gonna go. We're definitely gonna try our best. And of course, as always, we'll check in at the beginning of next month to let you know how it all went. So if you like our content, Patreon, guys, Patreon. We support most of the stuff we do on the site via our Patreon feed, and it really, really does help, and we really, really do appreciate it. So if you have any extra money and you want to throw it in our general direction, that is the best place to do so. We also just finished one of our milestone goals, and our next one is going to be a series of vlogs that Ryan is going to put out, just talking about what it is to be a game reviewer and what it is to work in this part of the industry. So those will be available on YouTube. Seems like something maybe you guys are into. Anyway, let us know what games you have coming up on your table soon, and like and subscribe down below. We'll see you soon. Bye.